Hello everyone, welcome to the What If Anime YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into an exciting new story that will take your imagination to the next level. Let's get started. What if Naruto found scroll of her parents and learned his bloodlines? Part 2. Before video started, do like, share and subscribe to the channel and comment down your favorite part. Anyway, here is the next part. We find Naruto at the gates of Suna 3 days after the whole runes incident. Naruto healed in one day, but the Kage and his family insisted that he stay a bit longer in thanks for bringing their family back together. Tamari was disappointed that Naruto already had a girlfriend, but she quickly let it go, not wanting to anger him, but she developed a big crush on him, though that did not go unnoticed by the Kage. The man did wonder if he could set up a political marriage. He'd pushed those thoughts till later. The boy had really changed his son and he was glad for it, as he no longer had to get his son killed. That led the two boys to become good friends, and even Kankuro opened up to the blonde. Gaara had also decided to teach Naruto some sand moves, since the blonde now had control over sand like he did. The only difference was that blonde did not carry a huge jug on his back, just a couple of bottles and seal on his arm that contained a lot of sand. Back to the gates, the group was saying their goodbyes. The Kage and Baki, the sand siblings sensei, gave Naruto a scroll on wind and sand jutsu and a special surprise for the blonde later. After hearing about Naruto's unique bloodline, they decided to give Bloodlines something special. Kankuro patted Naruto on the back and thanked him again for all that he did, and Gaara, still not used to other emotions, just shook hands with Naruto and smiled a little. He saw Naruto as a brother even though they were not related by blood. Tamari was the one that shocked everyone as she walked right up to him and planted a kiss on his lips. "That is a thank you for saving my brother. It is truly a shame that you already have a girlfriend. I would have claimed you for myself if you didn't," she said with a smile as she saw his face really red that could make Hinata jealous. Naruto shuddered before coughing his hand and saying, "Well, I better go." He then hightailed it out of there, sand being sent in all directions in his wake. "Hey, now that was funny," Kankuro said as he watched Naruto ran away at top speeds. "Brad better watch out, he might have a harem if these girls he is saving come together, luck brat." With Naruto, that night, Naruto has decided to take the scenic route to Konoha and head to the fire temple to see the sights. The Hokage expected his mission to be a lot long anyway, so he had time. Right now though, he was sitting next to a campfire he had made. Looking into the fire, he remembered about the scroll he had got from those runes. So, he quickly took it out and opened. To his surprise, it was a summoning contract for ravens. He had done his research and found out that these guys were helps to the Shinigami. What was weird though was the fact the scroll was in some old ruins in the land of sand. Shaking his head, he decided to sign the contract and see what would happen. He found that there was a special set of hand signs for him and went ahead and did them while sending a good amount of chakra into the jutsu. Summoning jutsu. In a large puff of smoke, a 40-foot raven appeared where he was standing. He was now on the bird's beak. Its giant eyes locked onto him and said, "You the one who summoned me?" The blonde just nodded. "I see. Well, you do have the blood of a Shinigami in you, for if you did not, you would have died when you tried the summoning." At this, the blonde soul reaper paled. "Normally, summoned creatures would have a test for you, but I think I will have no test because of the fact that there has not been a summoner in a very long time. Now, I will give you a familiar to work with you. Oh, by the way, I forget the introductions." The large summon squawked, "Oh right, I am Naruto Uzumaki. You may call me Maru. Now, what is it that you desire in life?" "Well, I know that my time in my home village is short because there are those that want me dead even though I am not a demon container anymore. When that time comes, I wanted to find the entrance to the Soul Society and restore it." "I see, very noble of you. I never thought the day would come when someone would want to find that place. If that is the case, then return to the ruins from which you found the summoning scroll. You will find a clue to your desire. Now, I will trust you, your familiar, my own daughter, Kira." When he said the name, a poof appeared next to Naruto. A smallish raven was revealed when the smoke was gone. "What is it, father? We have a new summoner and you are his familiar. Teach him the shadow and darkness arts when you have the chance." "All right," the little raven said as she flew to Naruto's shoulder. "Finally, we got a summoner." Maru just chuckled, and then in a large puff of smoke, he was gone. The bad thing about Hat was that Naruto was falling from a very high height. Using her quick thinking, the small raven attached herself to Naruto's back and grew to a reasonable size and fused with him, giving him large black wings. What the? This is the power of a familiar. We are partners now, so this is possible. Hanyu learned the shadow arts, that is when thing will really heat up. Right now though, we can only fly. Kira said in his mind. Cool, Naruto said as they then flew the rest of the way to the fire temple, even though it was night time. The next day, he was almost there, but when he was about a mile away, he decided to give Kira a rest and walk the rest of the way. On the way there, they chatted about random thing like what they liked and things like that, but they came across a boy about his age and in bad shape no less. I got this, the little raven said as she flew to the boy. Shadows of healing. The shadows from all around stretched out to the boy and healed his wounds. We should make camp and not move the boy for a bit. Naruto nodded and did just that. A few hours later, the boy woke up and looked around at Naruto. Naruto now noticed that the boy was wearing black and white monk's clothes and hair that kind of made him look like a girl. What the, where am I? Asked the boy, a mile from the fire temple, so tell me, what happened? Asked the blonde soul reaper. The young monk scowled before his face saddened. I am not well liked in the fire temple. The reason, well, I have a bit of Kyuubi's chakra in me. My name is Sora by the way. Sora then looked back to see that Naruto had a shocked look, not a disgusted look like the monks back at the temple. You know, I thought I got rid of the Kyuubi's power when he unlocked my bloodlines. Naruto deadpanned. That was not the answer Sora ever expected. Who are you? He said. Name's Naruto Uzumaki, former demon container to the Kyuubi no Kitsune. So where are you from? The fire temple, but I really don't want to go back for they don't like me. Then come with me to Konoha and I can fix your problem. How? I am good at seals and I have made a seal that converts the demonic energy into spirit energy, giving you the ability to use a Shinigami's power like me. Naruto said as he gestured to his swords. I will go. I am tired of the hate. Good, but when we get to Konoha, we have hide the truth from everyone except the Hokage. I am sure he will help you as well. Naruto said as brought out some ink and a brush. Naruto told him to lift up his sleeve and an hour later, the seal was complete. As soon as he applied it, the energy of the old Kyuubi shifted to the seal and then shot out a blade like Naruto's. Sora smiled and said, thank you. We should go just in case if they send someone to come after me. Alright, just know that you are also part of my little organization. Naruto said as he then explained to Sora what he was doing, and to say the boy was shocked would be an understatement. He was happy though because he was part of something that accepted him. Well, if we want to get to Konoha faster, I will teach you the Raven Shunshin. The small raven said to Naruto, causing Sora to fall back in surprise. But that could take a while, so I will do the jutsu. When Sora was with them again, the raven grew again and wrapped her wings around the two boys, and in a black whirlwind of feathers, they were gone. Gates of Konoha. Izumo and Kitetsu were once again guarding the gates, and to say they were bored was an understatement. They had nothing to do. Well, that was about to change as a whirlwind of black feathers appeared out of nowhere, and then the feather fly away as they turned into ravens. The two guards gawked at the blonde that just suddenly appeared with what looked to be a monk. Hey guys, I am back from my missions and I brought back a new friend. You know, I should have expected this. Izumo said with a smile. Yeah, Kitetsu smirked as they two boys walked to the Hokage tower. The Hokage was currently doing paperwork with a clone when Naruto walked in with Sora. The old man looked up, arose an eyebrow, and told Naruto to explain. Naruto retold his entire adventure to the Hokage, and when he was done, everyone in the room was looking at Naruto in shock. I am getting too old for this shit, the old man muttered, so let me get this straight. You now have power over nothingness, time, wood, sand, whatever is in that scroll, the Raven contract, and their power over darkness and shadows. Yep, the little raven answered for him. Oh, just give me a written report later, but first here. Sarutobi said as he handed Naruto a scroll full of Mokuden Jutsu. Trust me, you will need that. Now about your friend, your sensei just went on another mission, so they won't be back for a bit. I think it would be prudent that he is instated on your team so no one asks of his past. Thanks, old man, Naruto said to the shock of Sora. With that, they left the building and started walking in the direction of a certain training ground. Where are we going? A friend of mine asked me to train with her team when I got back. I want you to meet her and some of my other friends. On the way there, Naruto decided to take out the scroll he had gotten from the cage and look over the jutsu inside. Though the first thing he was a seal that had the kanji for iron sand. As soon as he'd put his hand on it, the seal glowed. It activated his black hole seal and his Uzugen. It created a seal on Naruto's arm next to his regular sand seal that held a good amount of iron sand in it. When it stopped, the monk said, "That was interesting. Does this happen a lot?" "I guess so. My Uzugen copies bloodlines and let me use them. I guess all I really need is their DNA." Sora just shrugged as they made their way to the training grounds. Tenten immediately came over. "Naruto, how was your mission?" "It was interesting to say the least. Me and Kiba's team saved the Waterfall Village. I got a girlfriend from the Waterfall Village, went and saved the Cage's son from some ruins. Then I met my new teammate, Sora," Naruto said to a shocked Tenten. Her teammates, Lee and Neji, and Sensei, Guy, came over after hearing the story. Lee watched as Neji came over to Naruto and scowled at him. "There is no way a dead last loser could do all that. You are fated to be a loser for the rest of your life." "Well, aren't we happy?" Naruto deadpanned. "Tell you what, we fight and I win, you get that fate stick out of your ass." "Fine, but you won't win. Fate has deemed that. Whatever, man," Naruto said as he got into a fighting stance that he made up. He really needed to get his own if he wanted to face other taijutsu users. "Kira, go over to Sora, this is not a battle for you." "Hey, no problem bro," she said as she flew away. With that, Neji flew toward him intent on showing Naruto how much of a loser he was. Naruto, however, smirked as Neji struck all his chakra points in one go. When the Hyuga was done, he stepped back and was shocked that the Naruto he had defeated was a shadow clone. "You make this too easy, man," Naruto said as he reappeared next to Neji while hanging on his shoulder. "You cannot escape fate," yelled the now enraged Hyuga as he destroyed yet another shadow clone. Guy was smiling at the blonde. He really hoped that Neji would lose and learn that fate does not control everything. "Cat's out of the bag," Naruto announced as he disappeared to everyone else but Neji as he had his Byakugan activated and began blocking and dodging all of Naruto's sword strikes. Both Tenten and Guy's eyes widened for learn that attack. Tenten really wanted to spar with the guy now. Guy was impressed that a genin could use Yugao's attack so easily. Neji just growled and slammed a chakra-enhanced palm strike right to Naruto's chest, sending the blonde back a few feet. Neji capitalized on that and rushed Naruto. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. That attack sealed all of Naruto's chakra points. Naruto just smirked weakly at Neji. That may have hurt like hell, but he does not need to use chakra to bet this jerk. "Damn, that hurt," Naruto said on his knees. Neji smirked but was surprised to see Naruto on his knees instead of on ground, writhing in pain. "Now do you see that you are a loser? All I see is someone that has a stick up so far their ass they can't see how good their life is. I know about that Hyuga seal and I think I can make a new one that won't total fuck you up, but I am debating whether or not to do it." He paused looking at the shocked expression on all their faces. "Right now though, I am going to kick your ass. I may not be able to use chakra but that didn't stop me in those runes I had to go to," Naruto said as he channeled spirit energy in one hand while channeling physical energy in his other. "That hell," Neji commented as he saw 2 different energies being channeled by his opponent. Naruto smirked as he slammed his fist into the ground, creating a mini earthquake and pretty much destroying land surrounding him. He wasted no time in executing his next attack as he rose his hand and yelled, "Byakurai!" White lightning shot out of Naruto's hand so fast that Neji didn't have time to dodge and he was sent clear across the training grounds. When he did not get back up, Guy rushed to his student in a panic only to find out that the kid was just staring at the sky. Naruto walked over and held out a hand, to which Neji took with some effort. "Looks like I lost, but I will hold you to your word that you will fix that seal." "You got it," Naruto said as he saw there was a change in the young Hyuga. "Hey, try to get along with your family if you can, because after all, you are family." Neji just nodded as group began to par with each and got to know Sora. Lee, however, was happy there was someone else who could use spirit energy. he just needed to find a way to spar within that field. Then the real fun would happen. It has been a month since Naruto came back and beat the sense into Neji. During that time, Naruto hung out with his new friends and sparred with them when he was not hanging out with the others or training with his senseis. When he tried to use the regular sand or the metal sand the first time, it was not pretty. As soon as he tried to control it, it attacked him and whacked him in the face a few times. Finally, he had enough and talked to Gaara through their seal, and the sand man told him not to control the sands but to let it flow around his being and use his chakra to point it in the right direction. Later, it would let him control it. That was how it worked for Gaara, and Naruto sighed as he would have to do the same thing. Halfway through the month, he was able to get some control over it, and he has been working on that ever since. Thanks to the old man and the Mokuden scroll he had given him, he was able to get some jutsu learned about that as well. He was by no means a master, but he was slowly getting there. Now, however, our favorite blonde hero was in the Hokage's office, for he had been called there for another joint mission. Naruto waited as the Hokage talked with his potential team to be working with. Apparently, Team 7 wanted a higher mission because they were very sick of D-ranked missions. He agreed to that notion. Those missions really sucked. He then heard his name to be called in. Naruto walked in to see the startled faces of Team 7 and smirked. "Yo, wait, Naruto is going to be our backup?" Sakura asked. "Yes, he has had some C-ranked mission that turned into higher ones recently, so I think it is only right that you all go together. He has worked with every other team from this year's graduating class and they even think he is capable." Sarutobi said. "Fine with me," Sasuke said. Sakura smiled with sigh, said nothing at all, not caring. Kakashi just chuckled. He would be getting the boy he wanted on his from the beginning on his team to wave. "Right, send the client in," the Hokage said, and a door opened to reveal a drunken old man. "This is my team. They are kids. Besides, that blonde one looks weak." The client was cut off from saying any more as Naruto had sent his dagger and chain to surround him. The dagger was in front of his face, weaving back and forth like a snake. "Be careful what you say, old man. Other than Kakashi, I am the strongest on this team. I have already been on a 3C ranked missions where 2 went to B rank and the other to A rank. The A rank is when I had to save the Casecage's son. So please be more respectful. You yourself are not really respectful to anyone." The Hokage deadpanned. "Touché, old man, touché." Naruto smirked while Team 7 face palmed as they left. Before he left though, the old told him to stay for a second. "Naruto, when this mission is done, I would like you to go on another mission like last time. This time, however, it is to the Mist Village. You are to find a lady named Maid Terumi and aid her in getting rid of her crazy Mizukage. In turn for helping them, they will sign a treaty with us, making our alliance bigger. Please, don't mess this up." "Got it, old man," the blonde said as he left. He wished he could take Sora with him, but the Hokage wanted him in the village, just in case if those monks were looking for him. That would be bad if they found him at all. Why do I get the feeling that something bad is going to happen? Sarutobi grumbled. Gates. Once at the gates and they had everything they needed for the trip, they began their journey. Along the way, Sakura kept glancing over to the oblivious blonde and she had to admit that he was cute. Yeah, she got over her crush the day of the team placements when Sai chewed her out for being weak. She was now great at genjutsu and becoming a good medic nin. Sasuke had to admit that she was useful now. Speaking of the last Uchiha, he was walking next to the blonde. It seemed that the blonde was not much but deception is a ninja's weapon and Naruto hid his skills well. Dobi, what was it like in Suna? Sandy, the place isn't that bad though. I became friends with the Casecage's kids, Naruto said while Kakashi quirked an eyebrow. All 3 of them, Naruto? Asked the one-eyed man. Yep, but for some reason, Tamari has some sort of crush on me. At least I think she does because she gave me a kiss before I came back. The members of Team 7, except for Sai naturally, all had wide eyes. Sakura was a little jealous of the girl while Sasuke just smirked. Kakashi however gave a perverted giggle and said, so did you enjoy it? I am not sure. Right now I like the kisses I get from Fu better right now because she is my girlfriend. Naruto stated while Sasuke and Sakura face planted on the ground and the white-haired Jonin just stopped, making Sai stop as well. Who is Fu? Sakura ground out. Fu is the sister to Shibuki, the Waterfall Village's leader, stated Naruto. Damn Naruto, you are getting all the girls from out of the village, you know that. Sasuke said, not to mention the girls back home, including some of my former fangirls. I thank you for that, but you are so freaking clueless. Wow, you are truly like your father, Naruto. Kakashi stated. Kushina was not originally from the village either. Too bad Jiraiya is not here. He make a book out this kid's love life and maybe get the kid to have harem. Hee. Naruto sighed as they walked some more. He could not understand what the big deal was, but he also didn't care. Then, they passed a puddle and he knew that it had not rained in weeks. He looked to Kakashi and the man nodded slightly, showing he knew as well. They will be attacked soon. 5 seconds after passing the puddle, 2 ninja, wearing Chunin gear from the mist, came out and wrapped their chains around Kakashi. Time for you to die. One of them yelled as they tugged on the chain, ripping Kakashi to shreds. Sakura screamed in horror while the 3 boys went to work. Sai stayed with Sakura to protect Tazuna while Naruto and Sasuke went to fight the 2 mist ninja. One of the 2 sent their gauntlet chains at Sasuke, but the Uchiha jumped above it and sent a fire jutsu, which hit ends made the mist ninja run around frantically before hit a tree. He pretty much knocked himself out as he was burned alive. In Naruto's battle, the blonde jumped above the chains that were sent his way. He then landed on them, ran up the length of the chain while cover his right arm with metal, and punching the guy right in the gut, sending him into a tree. Naruto smirked as he did some hand signs and called out, Sutetsu and Mokuten, iron tree binding. The tree the mist ninja land next to, bent around his body while also being covered in the metal, which was a bit spiky to hurt the mist ninja. Kakashi appeared next to Sasuke and just gawked at Naruto with the rest of his team. Tazuna, who was already impressed by the ninja, wondered what the big deal was. Okay, I take that as not a normal ninja power. He said out loud, bring them out of their stupor. Naruto, how do you have the powers of the first Hokage and the third case cage? Kakashi asked seriously. The genin of Team 7 had wide eye when they heard that, along with seeing Kakashi alive again. Let's get some info from this guy first, Naruto stated. A half-hour later, they found out that they were the demon brothers from the mist and they were sent to kill the bridge builder for a business tycoon named Gato. Naruto, being his usual self, decided he would continue the mission, which gave the other enough courage to do so as well. Along the way, he told them about his recent missions and about his powers. While walking, they had wide eyes. This was not something you heard every day. Sasuke was the first to get out of his stupor and say, so your Uzugen, it is like the Sharingan but it copies Bloodlines instead of normal. Jutsu, yep, and you have the strength of Tsunade and the speed of the 4th Hokage. Sai asked with some emotion for once. Yep, you also have another bloodline that makes you a Shinigami. Sakura asked. Yep, you are the most unpredictable I know, Naruto. Kakashi said while Tazuna shook his head. He had the weirdest team, but in a sense, the best team. A half-hour later, after crossing some water in a boat, Naruto threw a kunai into a bush. It turned out to be a rabbit that he heard. While Sakura was berating him for scaring a small rabbit, Kakashi told them to duck. They all dropped to the ground with Sai grabbing the old man as a huge-ass sword flew over them. A man in a black tank top-like shirt with the same colored pants landed on the blade. He also had cameo-colored arm warmer and a slashed mist headband on his head that was at an odd angle. Another odd thing about the man was that he had half of his face covered in bandages, he had no eyebrows. Good student you have there, Kakashi. The man said. Zabuza Momochi. Kakashi said before he chuckled. No, he is not my student, though I wish he was. He is just helping me on this mission. Too bad, said Zabuza. Now, are we going to have to do this the hard way or the easy way? I am assuming you are here to kill the bridge builder. Kakashi asked, to which he got a nod from the eyebrowless man. Well, I can't let you do that. Well, it never hurt to ask. Zabuza said while doing hand signs. Hidden mist jutsu. The area was instantly covered in a thick layer of mist. Naruto scowled and said, let me handle this, Kakashi, then you can have your fun. Wind style. Great breakthrough. A wind whipped around Naruto before it went out in all directions to get rid of the mist, thoroughly annoying the mist swordsman. Damn, a wind user. No brows mumbled, but he quickly dodged an attack from the right, courtesy of Kakashi. Don't worry about him, you be worried about yourself. With that, Kakashi revealed his one Sharingan. I evened the odds. They started flinging jutsus back and forth before one got Kakashi and sent him into the water. What the, why is it heavier then? Oh shit. Kakashi tried to get out of the water but Zabuza was faster as he trapped the copy ninja in a water prison. Naruto, take the others and go. No, I heard about your little fun fact about life and like you said, if we abandoned you, we would be worse than trash. Naruto said in all seriousness. Sai, what can you do? I can create ink animals but they are useless with all this water around. Damn, okay, Sakura and Sai, keep the bridge builder safe while Sasuke and I kick this guy's ass. Naruto said while the two nodded. He did see Sai create few animals that kind of looked unstable. Before he could think of a good plan, a clone of Zabuza came up behind them and almost took off their head, but they quickly ducked in time. Naruto growled, as he used his speed to slash through the clone to find that it was a water clone. He then rushed towards the missing nin only to find himself and Sasuke surrounded by more water clones. Oh screw this, Naruto complained as he took out one of his swords and yelled, rule the titans, Kronos. The small blade shifted to that of a large chainsaw-like blade. Time acceleration. To everyone, the blonde looked to be a blur going way too fast for them to see as he shredded through the clones like it was nothing. The hell, yelled Zabuza from his spot looking as shocked as everyone else. Surprised, well this is what a Shinigami can do. Naruto smirked but that quickly turned into a scowl as Zabuza created more water clones, at least 20 of them. 10 went after him while the other 10 went after the Uchiha. Damn, Sasuke, if you survive, you will probably gain the Sharingan. Sasuke's battle. The last Uchiha growled as he had to overwork his body to defend himself from the water clones. Unfortunately, he got niched a few times by the end of the blade, so he was bleeding now. Then one swung in a horizontal arc, letting the Uchiha jump in onto it, quickly forming a few hand signs for a new attack he wanted to try. When he was done, he noticed that everything was moving slow motion, but quickly shook it off as nothing and launched his new jutsu. Fire style, Immortal Phoenix Arc. The fire quickly spewed out of his mouth and he swung his arms around to create an arc of fire around himself, destroying all the Zabuza clones. When he landed on the ground in a crouching position, Kakashi saw that his student had the Sharingan as he slow rose up. It was about time too. Naruto's battle. Naruto looked at all the Zabuzas surrounding him and sighed as he took out his dagger and chain to use with his giant blade. The Zabuzas saw this was the time to attack and rushed in, bring the down blades all around Naruto. The blonde just jumped up and spun sideways to avoid all the blades. He quickly created 40 of his own shadow clones to create a division of what he was really going to do. At first, the former Mist Ninja was started to find out that this blonde could create 40 shadow clone in one go, but it soon wore off as he saw his own clones making quick of Genin's own clones. Now he was waiting for the damn smoke to dissipate. Wait, smoke? Shit, he planned this, thought Zabuza as he looked around frantically for the blonde. When the smoke cleared, Kakashi's eyes widened when he saw what Naruto had in his hands. Gone was the huge chainsaw blade and in its place was the Rasengan. That was an attack he never thought he would see again. Everyone else just looked at Naruto awed before the blonde spoke. He no brows. Take this. Flash step. Naruto was so glad he learned how to channel spirit chakra to his legs just like the physical chakra. While he could not use the flying thunder god attack, he could at least use an attack no shinobi would ever expect. Naruto flash stepped to right in of the startled missing ninja of the mist, reared his hand back, and screamed, Rasengan. The small ball of energy sent the larger mist ninja flying across the water, but Naruto had used his dagger and chain wrapped around the man's leg and pulled on it to bring the man flying back. Naruto smirked as he jumped up and slammed down on Zabuza's gut, slamming the man into the ground, creating a small crater in the ground. Naruto covertly slipped a piece of paper in the man's pocket as Kakashi came up to him. Naruto turned and smiled that Kakashi was now safe from the water prison attack. Naruto, how do you know the Rasengan? Well, my teacher really had me working on chakra control since I had a lot of it and still do. The old man saw this and thought I should at least know one of my father's attacks. So he gave me a scroll on how to the Rasengan. I had to get the balloons and rubber balls myself, but it only took a week for me to learn it. It really surprised my teachers and the old man, Naruto, while Kakashi had dumbfounded look on his face. They were interrupted by a groan as Zabuza was starting to slowly get up, but his neck was then pierced by some Senbon. They looked to see a mist hunter nin appear next to the fallen mist swordman. The hunter nin looked to have a green robe that hid all concealed weapons and had a strange mask on. I thank you for defeating him. I have been tracking him for a long time. I will be leaving now. The hunter nin said as he took the body and vanished. Man, that was pain, Naruto complained out of nowhere. Thank you, Naruto, but did you plan that? Asked Kakashi. No, I just made it up as I went along. Kira probably thought it was Naruto said as he looked over to his shoulder to see no raven there. He paled and said, oh shit, I am dead. He quickly performed the summoning jutsu to get Kira to his side. You idiot, how could you leave me in that boring village? Came a shrill cry as a small raven appeared. Sorry, Nate-chan, I was in a hurry and you were napping. I didn't want to wake you up, Naruto said as he shuddered at what happened the last time. Fine, but you better not forget me next time, the small raven said as she flew up to his shoulder. I was worried, so could you tell me what has happened so far, because knowing you, trouble happened. Sure, Naruto replied as he told her what happened. As they all walked to the Wave Village, the members of Team 7 and Tazuna were sweat dropping every time Naruto got pecked in the head by the small raven for doing something stupid. How can this kid go from being a total badass to a wimp being bullied by a raven? Tazuna thought as he walked while shaking his head. The raven contract, who knew? The Cyclops thought with an eye smile. I know I am not yet ready to him yet, nowhere close. Thought the last Uchiha with a deadpan expression on his face as he watched the blonde. Why are things never normal with him? Sakura complained in her head. At a hideout, in the forest of Wave Country, Zabuza was being treated for his injuries by the person his thinks of as a son but will never admit it. Just as the boy was done, a short man barged in with some samurai thugs. So you failed, the man asked with a smug grin, as if he knew the answer already. Yeah, Gato, but just give me a week to recover and that bridge builder would be dead, along with those annoying Konoha ninja. Zabuza said, I have a better idea, how I kill you and save the girl for later. Gato said, gesturing to Zabuza's feminine-looking boy. The boy didn't take well to that as he was next to Gato in a heartbeat. He broke the small man's arm before his guards could react. You will not hurt Zabuza-sama. Besides, I am a boy. It took a moment for the thugs and Gato to register what they heard before they yelled, what? Hiku, that is enough. The former mist ninja said. Gato, go and let me rest so I can complete my job. Fine, Zabuza, just get it done. Gato yelled as he and his men left. Zabuza sighed as he leaned back on his chair. That short little man was a pain in the ass. As his hand brushed over his pocket, he felt that something was in there that normally was not. He quickly took it out and saw that it was addressed to him. Hiku, did you put this in my pocket? He asked, showing him the paper. No, I did not. Hiku stated. Zabuza frowned in thought before he remembered that blonde ninja. Could it be from him? He needed to find out, so he opened it. Zabuza, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, you know, the blonde ninja. I read about your little battle with the Mizukage. After I am done with this mission, I am to go to the mist and aid the rebel, led by Maid Terumi, beat some sense into him. After reading about that guy, it would seem to me that he is under some sort of powerful genjutsu. I am asking you to come with me to mist and help since you are from there. Please consider, Naruto Uzumaki, the ninja Shinigami. After reading that last bit, the demon of the mist almost had a heart attack. He had heard about him from some merchants. He defeated those things called hollows and helped the Case Cage's kid. He would have to consider this offer. Hiku, I think we should take young Naruto's offer and help him at the end of the week. We will aid him in defeating the Mizukage. It will end then. Hiku asked hopefully about the bloodline wars in Mist. Yes, I think with his help, it will, Zabuza said tiredly. Unfortunately for them, one of Gato's thugs heard and went to report it. With Gato, the thug had just explained what he heard Zabuza say and smirked. Hey, it is a god thing, I am not going to pay the fool. Sir, what should we do? Asked the random thug. Nothing, I am going to send one of those hollows on them all when he decides to attack. That should kill them all. Gato laughed as all his men quivered in fear at the thought of those things. Naruto and Team 7, it has been a day since they arrived at Kazuna's place in the Wave Village. Tsunami was very nice while her son was a little bitch. The brat cried about everything and told them they were just going to die. Of course Naruto ignored the little brat as he and his team was led to the forest by Kakashi. Alright, I am going to teach you tree walking. Kakashi, I already know this, along with water walking and kunai balancing. Naruto said, well, can you show them for me? Why not? Naruto while the others wonder what was so special about climbing trees. Smirking, the blonde walked up the tree, all the way to the top and with no hands. Sasuke's eyes twitched, yet another thing Naruto was good at and not him. Remember, too much chakra and you fly off, but too little and you don't even stick. Very good Naruto. Sasuke, Sakura, Sai, I want you three to master this by the end of the week. That is the time I fear that Zabuza will be back, and yes, I think he is alive because of the fact that the hunter nin did not dispose of the body at that spot. Kakashi said, I don't know, it is him we should be worried about. Naruto said from atop the tree as he was walking down. I did ask him for help in defeating the Mizukage. Wait, what? Kakashi said with his eyes widened. My second mission after this is to go to the mist and help the rebels. I gave Zabuza a letter the moment I landed on him. Naruto said nonchalantly. You're insane, you know that. Kakashi said, the world would not be any fun if I wasn't. Naruto said while everyone's sweat dropped. Anyway, since you have good chakra control, I want the two of us to spar. Kakashi ordered, taijutsu only. Naruto smirked and said, oh goody. I get try out my taijutsu styles now. Styles? Kakashi asked. Yeah, Genma-sensei said I should have a taijutsu style and not rely on my weapons. He was also teaching me elemental manipulation, so I combined them. So far, I only have 2 styles of my elemental fist styles. You can't be serious. The silver-haired man said, I am afraid to ask, but what styles do you know and what elements are you aligned with? Oh, I got all of them. The blonde spoke with a cheerful smile as the Uchiha heard this and lost his footing. He fell on the ground rather hard. The 2 styles I have are the spiral fist for wind and the blaze fist for fire. Ah, this is going to be a long day. Kakashi deadpanned. Okay, let's go with the spiral fist first, shall we? Naruto nodded and got into an odd stance, and Kakashi left the air shift a bit, but other than that, nothing really happened. So the one-eyed man decided to charge in. As he threw a punch, Naruto bent back, dropped to the ground and tried to leg sweep the Jonin, but Kakashi just jumped up and Naruto smirked. That was the opening he was looking for. Sakura saw this as she was about to go back up the tree. She panicked, but she didn't want to say anything for she wanted to see what would happen. Naruto jumped up with enhanced speed thanks to the wind surrounding him and palm struck Kakashi in the chest. The effect was instant as a huge blast of wind spiraled Kakashi in a nearby tree. The genin just looked shocked at what Naruto had just done. Sasuke could barely catch Kakashi like that, but Naruto is able to send the man flying. There was a groan of pain as they saw Kakashi slowly get back up. Sakura, being the closest to the man, saw that front of his jacket was warped into a spiral. Okay, I believe you now, but how did you learn wind manipulation so quickly? The Cyclops asked. Oh, that is easy. Shadow clones. I can make enough of them to train with and everything they learn comes back to the user. Naruto said. Oh, and in case you are wondering, I based the spiral fist off the Rasengan. Ah, no wonder why it hurt so much. Kakashi said as he touched his chest. So, what does your blaze fist look like? Naruto smirked and crossed his arms so that his fists were on either side of his face with his fingers pointed away from him. His fingers were in the shape of claws so it would hurt more. Then, his hands and feet were set ablaze. Kakashi also saw that wisps of fire lashed out around the blonde's body as if to protect him. This is the stance for my blaze fist, wanna give it a chance? Naruto asked with a smirk. Ah, no. After the spiral fist, I am sure of that. Kakashi deadpanned, not wanting to get burned at the moment. He then got an idea and asked, why are you creating different styles like this? To have a surprise in battle. Besides, I plan on combining them to create a 6th style called the elemental fist. I see. Well, how about I teach you lightning manipulation since I know Gemna won't know how to do that. You can create your own style later. Kakashi offered. Sure, Naruto said. Shadow clone jutsu. With that, over 100 Narutos filled the clearing. The reaction this was comical. Sai gawked on a branch. Sasuke was looking around frantically at all the Narutos and having a mental meltdown as this was just not possible in his opinion. And Sakura, her eyes widened, giggled perversely and fainted, falling out of the tree she was in. Luckily, a Naruto clone caught her and wondered what was wrong with her, clueless as usual. For the rest of the week, Kakashi taught Naruto lightning manipulation. Kakashi decided to see what his other students' chakra natures were. It turned out that Sakura had earth, Sai ironically had water, and the Uchiha had fire and bit of lightning. Knowing these things were enough for the copycat ninja as he taught them all some jutsu for later on. There was Aloes, a small oddity that were the Uchiha and Naruto sparred. They had both used their dojutsu and Naruto copies the Uchiha bloodline. He did not understand why, but he knew a few attacks that most Uchiha didn't know. The end of the week came a little too quickly for the group. Naruto had seen the Haku boy again when he trained himself to sleep one night. That brat, Inari, pissed him off so much that he went and trained to blow off some steam. After Kakashi told him a little about the blonde's life, he started to understand him a bit more. Of course he was dead scared of the small raven that Naruto always had on his shoulder, because for every time he bitched about them dying, she would try and peck his eyes out. Now however, the group was at the bridge with some of Naruto's shadow clones keeping watch at the bridge builder's home, just in case if Gato tried something. As they approached the bridge, they saw a thick mist. As they entered, they saw a bunch of workers unconscious and on the ground. Zabuza and Haku were in the middle of them. Naruto rose an eyebrow and said, "So, you wanna fight?" Zabuza smirked beneath his mask and said, "Yeah, I wanna spar a bit before I decide to join you." "Fine by me," Sasuke announced, getting into his stance. "I think not," came a voice behind the Konoha ninja. They turned to see that the mist was clearing to reveal several samurai, and leading them was the business tycoon himself, Gato. The small businessman smirked and said, "Sorry Zabuza. I was never going pay you, and now, I will kill you and these pathetic Konoha ninja." "Bring it out." The warriors parted to reveal a large metal crate. Two of the samurai unlatched the crate, and with a roar, the front of the crate was blown away and out stepped a huge black monster with a bone mask. "Kill them for me," Gato commanded. The creature stared at Gato for a moment before saying, "Pathetic mortal, you cannot command me, but I will get rid of this Shinigami for my own purposes." The beast said as it turned its head to the minions of Gato, who were surprisingly not showing any fear. "It is time." At this, the ninja group watched in horror as the samurai were ripped apart, leaving more creatures in their place. The main monster then brought its hand down on a completely shocked Gato, ending his pitiful life. "Shit, this can't be good," Kira stated, "Bring everyone out of their stupor." "Naruto, what are these?" Sakura asked frantically. "These are hollows, and it seems that they are being led by a Manos class hollow. Well, I think it is a Manos." Naruto answered. "Just remember to destroy the mask and you will win." "Right, let's do this," Sasuke said as Sai nodded. Zabuza and Haku prepared to fight off these things as well. Zabuza was going to see the extent of the blonde's power today. "Shinigami, you will die along with your allies," the hollow said, and Naruto took a better look at it. It was very tall and humanoid in appearance, had grayish skin, large ass wings on its back, and its mask looked like that of a tiger's. "Who the hell are you? You're now like the other hollows I have beaten." "Yes, I am nothing like those weaklings you killed." "Yes, I am a Manos, but I am also an Ijukas, a middle-class Manos." "I wonder if you are anything like the old Shinigami were." "Trust me, I would know, because I was one of the many hollows that destroyed them in Soul Society. But, in the years of peace, my skills have diminished over the years, so let's see how I stack up to a new Shinigami." "This is so not good, be careful Naruto," Kira said from her spot on his shoulder. "You got that right, Kira, this is not good at all." Naruto commented, "Attack them and leave the Shinigami to me." The large tiger humanoid hollow ordered. Kakashi cursed. He was so glad they told the bridge builder to stay at home today. He, along with the others, rushed forward to kill this small army of 50 or so hollows. This was so not his day. Naruto rushed to the odd leader of the Hollows, activated Xemnas, and attacked without mercy. All that seemed to do was annoy the high-class Hollow. Naruto leapt back and yelled, "Nothing wave." The wave of energy caught the off-guard Hollow and blasted him back a few feet, but that was all. The Ijukas smirked and roared out, sending out a Sero straight at the blonde. Naruto growled, sending another nothing wave to cancel out the attacks. Haku and Zabuza were far much better as Haku used his speed to his advantage to confuse the nearby Hollows while Zabuza took his time in destroying the confused Hollows in the mist. They were no match for the swordman's huge sword. Haku saw the cancelled-out attack that Naruto and the leader Hollow had made. He saw the creature coming at the blonde at speed that he thought that Naruto could not dodge from. He rushed in to help. The ice user quickly grabbed the blonde and jumped up while performing a jutsu to distract the beast for a few seconds. Ice style, Nitro Dagger. The Uzugin came to life and quickly copied the bloodline of the ice user. It then deactivated on its own. Naruto blinked a few times before scowling. He needed to control that. He then turned his attention to Haku's attack and saw large spikes of super cold ice rain down on the Hollow. To his surprise, all it did was freeze the beast for a few seconds before it thrashed around and broke free, charging for them. Haku, thank for that, but go back to Zabuza. I will beat him somehow. Naruto said as the ice user disappeared from his view. I am not ready for this shit. Naruto growled out as he dodged the Hollow's claws. Kakashi was back to back with a few of his clones, all with their Sharingan revealed. They were preforming jutsu like no tomorrow. Well, if they messing up there would be no tomorrow, so no pressure. He then saw 3 large Hollows. The real Kakashi killed one with his Reikiri attack while the clones burnt the shit of them with fire jutsu. He was doing good so far, but he was running out of chakra and fast. He just hoped that his student were okay. The trio of Team 7 was sweating bullets. These things were strong and they had only heard about them in the academy. They were not prepared to actually fight these things. They were surrounded by these things and the only thing they could do at the moment was to try out their new jutsu they were taught. Sakura was first to attack. Earth style, Raging Fists. She called out as the earth itself was attaching itself to her hands and arms, creating some armor. She smirked as the Hollows hesitated for a second, and that was all she needed as she performed another jutsu. Earth style, Quake Fists. The pink hair girled the startled Hollows and punched them with earth-shattering force. Their bodies flew away from the force of her attacks. She was lucky that she got their masks because this jutsu combination was draining and she could not keep this up for long. Sasuke was next as jumped into the air and yelled, Fire style, Spinning Dragon. Sasuke started spinning wildly as fire surrounded him until it created a dragon. It then shot straight through a good amount of the Hollow before arcing in another direction. That direction was the Hollow that was about to claw up Naruto. He rammed into the Hollow and it canceled out his jutsu. Fortunately, it sent the Hollow flying back. Thanks Sasuke. Naruto panted as he got back up. He needed a new strategy. No problem, we can't have you dying on us. Sasuke smirked before reactivating his jutsu and headed straight for the Hollows that were giving Sakura a hard time. We see Sai preforming some hand signs and calling out a new jutsu of his. Water style, Rapid Cyclone Blades. The water from below rushed up to surround the pale boy, forming a cyclone of water around him before blades of water shot out and decimated the Hollows around him. He was enjoying this. Since he had encountered Naruto, he felt he could befriend the boy and not be like his father, who he was starting to hate. Back to Naruto, leader of the Hollows slowly got back up and growls. Enough of these interruptions, it yelled as it flew up into the air. Kira, Naruto said. Right, replied the raven as it melted into Naruto's back and the wings grew. With that the blonde flew into the air. The air battle was on. Okay, it was not that great of a battle because Naruto was still not used to Ari battle but was slowly getting there. Naruto, use your spiral fist, it should speed us up and give this jerk some real hurt. Kira said in his mind. Naruto nodded as he went into his spiral fist and put his sword away. The effect was instant. As soon as the blonde rushed forward, there was a sonic boom. He had struck the Hollow on the way, twisting up its skin. The hell? It yelled, not prepared for this. He seriously doubted his chances of winning now. Naruto just smirked as he did it again and again, creating sonic booms with each turn as he kept at the Hollow freak. Most of the other hollows on the ground had fled. At this point, seeing that most of their comrades were dead and this Shinigami was scaring the crap out of them. The ninja from below were watching in awe as Naruto's battle was going on. Zabuza was more than impressed by this blonde now more than ever. The leader of the Hollow Army was not frantically weighing his opinions. He could escape now and report this to his master, but he wanted to really hurt this Shinigami. He then looked to the Shinigami's friends and spotted the ice user, the one that froze him. All of a sudden, the hollow disappeared. Naruto looked around before he saw that he appeared right behind Haku. He tried to shout a warning but was too late as the hollow shot a fist through the young teen's chest, killing him instantly. Haku, Naruto and Zabuza screamed. The hollow backed up as Naruto appeared before his fallen friend. He looked to the hollow, rage building up in his system. It seemed that was uncontrollable. Kakashi and the others saw that Naruto was pissed, but what scared them was what came next. He screamed out in pain as a bone mask formed on his face and his eyes turned yellow. With primal rage, the masked blonde rushed the hollow. "Shit, a wizard," it said as it decided it was time to go and vanished, leaving a pissed off Naruto, who as his rage turned onto his friend, not distinguishing friend from foe. In other areas, 3 others felt Naruto's rage and yelled through their link to calm down. Fu, Gaara, and Sora were frantically yelling for him to calm down. Luckily for Naruto's allies, he did calm down, but just back out, not yet ready for power like that. The others looked in shock. This was not a battle they were ready for anytime soon. Sasuke and Sakura could understand why Naruto went ballistic for a fallen comrade, but they did not have that type of power to help him. Zabuza was cradling his son while crying a bit. If only that beast had stayed, then Haku's death would have been avenged by the blonde. He would live on for his son. Kakashi picked up Naruto, knowing the pain of losing someone like that. He hoped the boy could move on, unlike him. In a dark cave, the defeated Hollow kneeled before a man in a long black cloak with red clouds. There was also an orange swirl mask with one hole on the man's face. "Master, I have returned." "Yes, and it would seem you took a beating, Tigre Lotto." "Explain," the man said. "We Hollows have grown soft, I will admit that. Without the old Shinigami to challenge us, we have become weak. Now that a new Shinigami is here, we are at a disadvantage." The Hollow explained. "The boy, Naruto Uzumaki, is strong, along with his comrades. But when I killed one of them, he went into a fit of rage. He temporarily acquired the power of a wizard." "I see. It would seem that our kind must prepare our plans sooner than later. This man's body has been useful to me, but soon, I will have to dispose of it and return to my hollow self." The Hollow looked up, hopeful. "Truly, Lord Nexus. Yes, now go to the others and tell them to prepare. The time is coming sooner than later." Nexus commanded. The Hollow nodded and disappeared. A moment later, a man with orange hair, many piercing on his face, and ringed eyes walked into a part of the cave Nexus was in. "Toby, come," the man said. "Yes, Leader Sama. Toby is a good boy," Nexus exclaimed as he followed the man. Inwardly he grimaced. "Soon, I will be able to quit this idiotic facade, and then, the Rinnegan will be mine once again. I should never have given it the 6 paths sage to begin with," Nexus thought as he followed Pain. With Naruto, Zabuza, Team 7, and the villagers of Wave were all on the now complete bridge. Thanks to Naruto's shadow clones, the got done sooner than expected. Inari walked up to Naruto and said, "Please come back soon." Naruto smiled and said, "You got it, and that is a promise." "That is good to hear." Tazuna said, "Yes, well, we should be going," Kakashi said as they started to walk away. When they were halfway off the bridge, Tsunami asked, "Father, what should we call the bridge?" "I think we should name it after the person who helped us to the end." "The Great Naruto Bridge," the old man said as the crowd gave a cheer of agreement. Back with the ninja, the group had stopped at the end of the bridge and Kakashi asked, "Naruto, are you sure you don't need our help for your mission?" "Nah, but thanks Kakashi. Zabuza is enough after all. Besides, I am sure he will be happy to see his old friends, if he had any." "I am standing right here, you know," Zabuza commented with a tick mark on his face. "Come on, I am just messing with ya." Naruto smirked. "Yeah, but it is pretty easy getting under your skin," Kira announced. "Damn bird," Zabuza muttered to himself but got pecked out anyway. Throughout the time, the two have gained an odd relationship. After that, Kakashi nodded and led his team back to Konoha while Naruto, Zabuza, and Kira went the other direction towards the Mist Village. Along the way, they met an odd man who liked bubbles a bit too much in Zabuza's opinion. The teen turned out to be Utakata, container of the six-tailed slug. Naruto could tell the teen had been betrayed once before, so he treaded lightly before gaining some of the man's trust. The blonde then told him about his group and he reluctantly joined, and after putting the seal on the teen, they parted ways for the time being. A few hours later, we find the group walking through a forest full of thick mist. The village hidden in the mist, what a fucking pain in the ass. Naruto yelled, "Ah, this is just like that desert general, Jutsu." Zabuza smirked as the kid finally got it. "You can break genjutsu easily but you suck at detecting them, you know that." "If that was the case, why did you not say anything?" "Well, we were hoping you would figure it out." Naruto asked as he turned to Zabuza, only for him and everything else to fade away into a small village with a lot of people smirking at him. "Okay, so you are the one Konoha has sent us, and with a former swordsman no less." Came the voice of a woman with rusty red hair that covered one of her green eyes in some kind of blue battle dress. To say she was hot was an understatement, she was smoking hot. "Yeah well, I good at other things than genjutsu," Naruto said sheepishly. "We kind of figured that out." A man with an eye path deadpanned. "Right, well I am Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto said with a smile. "My name is Megurumi and these are my two guards, Ao and Chojiro." The red-headed woman said. "It would also seem that you brought back an old friend, Zabuza Momochi. How in the world did you ever find him?" "Hey, found me on my last mission," Naruto explained as they walked to a small house. Once there, Mei gave Zabuza a sad smile. "I am sorry. Don't be. His death made me into a better person." The swordsman muttered. Mei sighed and turned to Naruto. "Naruto, the reason I have called you here is because we need your help in dispelling a genjutsu surrounding our Mizukage. Ao has an implanted by a Kugan, and can see a powerful genjutsu surrounding the Mizukage but we do not have the power to dispel it," she explained with a sad smile. "I see, I will see what I can do," Naruto said. "When do we do this?" "Tomorrow, so please be ready," Chojiro said as he and Zabuza left for some training. The next day, we see our favorite group with the rest of the rebels at the gates of the main village of the Mist. They saw Yagura and 60 men just standing there, waiting for them. "So, nice of you to come again Mei-chan, but today you will die, I will not let you escape like the other times." The young face of Yagura, who in everyone's opinion, liked like a cheerful kid. But, that was not for Naruto as he saw this was not a genjutsu and grimaced. "That is not a genjutsu," Naruto deadpanned, much to the shock of the rebels and the quirking of the eyes of all of Yagura's men. Seeing he need to explain, he said, "I have the unique ability to see the dead, but why explain what I am seeing to you all when I could just show you?" With a smirk directed at Yagura, who paled a bit, Naruto channeled some spirit energy to his fist, which everyone saw, and slammed the fist into the ground, creating a shock wave of energy. Slowly but surely, they all began to see what Naruto saw. Yagura looked like a pale puppet attached to some spirit strings. What was controlling him was someone who they were not expecting at all. The man who started the Bloodline massacres in the first place, the second Mizukage. Father, yelled Zabuza. "Okay, that was another thing I would not like to know." Naruto sighed. "Hey, well it would seem you have Shinigami in your little group, Megurumi." The second Mizukage then threw the limp body of the fourth Mizukage into a tree, angering a lot of people. He then turned to his son. "Well Zabuza, you are probably wondering how I am here. Well, you can thank the third Mizukage for bringing me back to life, and yes, he is very much alive as well." After the initial shock of seeing his father again, Zabuza's rage began to grow. You made mine and everyone's lives hell with that graduation exam, then with the killing of bloodline users, and now this, just what the hell are you?" He is a demi-hollow, not a true hollow, but they can be a pain in the ass, trust me. I had to deal with the same thing for Gaara, the Cage's kid. Some nut-job priest was taking control of the Shukaku, Naruto explained, but that made Zabuza even angrier. "You will pay for this, I am going to wipe you from existence." He yelled in a blind rage as he charged at him. Naruto and the others told to him to stay, but they yelled on deaf ears. As soon as he got within striking distance of the demi-hollow, he struck out with his blade, only to find air. Then, the man appeared before him and jammed a fist in Zabuza's chest. "Foolish son, I am the one who taught you everything, and I always beat you." The father then gave an evil smirk and ripped out Zabuza's heart, but no one ever saw his soul. Naruto wondered he just passed over to see his son. Naruto growled and took out his blades while activating his Uzugen. "Mei-san, cover me. Today we are talking this thing down." Mei nodded and preformed Jutsu, a corrosive mist that just irritated the dead man, but when she sent out some lava bullets, he dodged like his life depended on it. While this was happening, the Uzugen was yet again copying the bloodlines that this woman had. Quickly shaking off the feeling of copying the bloodlines again, he activated his cannon blade and blasted out a wave of pure lava from the blade. Naruto smirked at everyone's shocked looks as he incinerated the annoying demi-hollow of the second Mizukage. He turned to the others and shrugged. "What? It is my bloodlines." They seemed to buy it for now as Naruto saw that Yagura was wailing up. He walked over to the young boy Fro. He had not aged since he had been possessed by the second Mizukage. He was probably Naruto's age. "Hey, hi, what is going on?" The last thing I remember was looking at the third Mizukage's Sharingan eye. Naruto sighed as he offered a hand to Yagura. "Well, that is some new info, but let's just say, not everything is as it seems," Naruto said as he began to explain a lot of things. Yagura was shell-shocked. All this time that he had been asleep, he had really been a puppet of some sick man's crazy desires. "I am sorry, but that is all I can really say," the boy said as most of his soldiers went to home to rethink their lives. All that has happened over the years was just a sick lie to them. "Well, it does not matter at the moment. You are safe now," Naruto said as he took out some ink and a brush. "Yagura, I want you to join my group. There are others like us and I have found a few already. My girlfriend Fu is one and the Case Cage's kid as well." "I see, then I am in. I wish to do good now," Yagura said as Naruto nodded and started to apply the seals. He then explained to everyone what was going to happen and about what he thought was going to happen to him. "Well, if that happens, I want you to visit us, and when you get that soul village up and running, we would love to be your ally," Mei said with a smile. "Thank you, Mei-san, and good luck with reforming this place. You are going to need it." Naruto deadpanned. "Yes, well, we have been fighting for a long time, so we should be able to do that," Ao said from his spot next to Mei. "On another note, you said you have a bloodline as well. What is it?" Naruto smirked and said, "Actually, I got 3. That made everyone's eyes widen. "You see, the seeing of the spirits is part of one of my bloodlines. That is called the Shinigami bloodline, where it gives me the power of 1. The Shinigami that you all are talking about is actually the king of the Shinigami." "Wow," Chojiro said wide-eyed and pretty much said what was on everyone's mind. "Yeah, the second is something that everyone knows. The energy that lets Tsunade use her super strength, physical energy. Now, the yellow flash is the same case since he is my dad, but he had to create some kunai to direct himself to the spot he wanted to run to. I would not try without using the kunai, trust me," Naruto said while rushing his back, making everyone sweat drop. "That is why I prefer to use spirit energy and use the flash step. Oh, and could you not tell anyone that my father was the yellow flash? If that is what you want," Mei said a little uneasy about being in front of the yellow flash's son. She did have to admit that that man go out a son before he died. "Now, my third one is called the Uzugen. It lets me copy bloodline jutsu but not normal jutsu," Naruto explained. He looked at everyone to see that they all had flabbergasted expressions, but none more than Mei herself. "Naruto, would your mother be Kushina Uzumaki?" Yeah, how did you know?" asked the blonde. "Kushina and I were best friends back in Whirlpool country. When it was destroyed, I thought I lost her, but I guess she lived." "So how is she?" She died when I was born," Naruto said sadly. "Oh, well, I have some good news for you then." Naruto quirked an eyebrow at this. "She said that if she ever had a kid that I would be your godmother, and since I know you probably got my bloodlines, here is a scroll for you to learn from," she said as she handed him a scroll full of jutsu, then she leaned in and hugged him. "You take care, Naruto." "Thanks, Mei," Naruto said as he hugged her. Ao and Chojiro were happy that Mei had some family, but Chojiro was a little peeved that Mei was hugging someone other than him. After that, he left through the gates, waving to his family in the Mist Village. He had plenty of time to get back home. After all, the old man thought that this mission would take longer. So he decided to travel the border till he needed to get back. 3 days later, Naruto sighed at the gloomy atmosphere of the Valley of the End. This place may have been the ending battle between Madara Uchiha and Harashima Senju, but that was it. Whatever happened between those two pretty much killed the land. With a shake of his head, he leapt away from that depressing place. As he was traveling, he sensed a few hollows ahead of him, and it seemed that they going after some high-level shinobi. That was not good. Even high-level shinobi had trouble with hollows. Naruto smirked as he raced through the trees. These hollows were starting to show themselves more and more. They were becoming pests that needed to just go away. He reached the edge of the clearing to see that there were 15 hollows surrounding what looked to be an important caravan. He looked to see that they had Iwa's headband on. That made him hesitate for a few seconds before scowling. These guys were still human, so it did not matter to him. They might still hate his father, but that was no reason to hate his kid, especially if he saved them. He saw a couple of the hollow eat one of them whole and growled. Now was the time to help. He used Flash Step to get over them to knock away a rather large hollow that was about to crush a very small old man. Not while I am around. He shouted in the large hollow curse. Damn you Shinigami, no matter. You will die and no longer be a pain in our side. The leader of the hollows growled. Of course the old man and his 2 remaining guards looked at the boy like he was nuts. Boy, you should go. These monsters are not easily beaten. The old shouted at the blonde. Not so much, old man. Naruto smirked as one of the hollows came straight at him. Naruto jumped up and took one of his swords out and stabbed it in the mask. It roared in pain as it dissolved into this air, much to the shock of the men behind him. Their mask is their weak point. Very interesting, said a man with odd red body armor that covered most of his body. The man also had a large hat that had the same armor covering it. So all we have to do is pierce their masks. Easy for you to say, Han, mumbled the other man with Iwa-type armor and an odd dark mark across his face. These things just killed all of our men. Roshi, you and Han are to help this boy in defeating these annoying creatures. The old man said, yes Tsuchikage-sama. Both men said, which made Naruto widen his eyes and then smirk. Well, all right then. Naruto cheered as he charged into the fray. As he fought his own group of hollows, he could not help but observe the other 2 fighters. The red armor one used steam-based jutsu and was really cutthroat with it as well. The other one used some odd taijutsu, making them back to each other before destroying them with a lava geyser of all things. Naruto smirked as he slashed through 2 of the hollows before using his insane strength to punch the next one in face far, far away. The last hollow he had to fight was the leader of the hollows. You are indeed skilled young Shinigami, but I am going to kill you. It yelled as it charged him. Reet, Naruto deadpanned. Come from the void of nothingness, Zemnas. Naruto called out as his small blade morphed into his cannon blade. This might be overkill, but I wanna try it out. 4-element destruction. Konoha, Mizu, Kumo, Iwa, 4 large beams of energy shot out of the cannon blade, each with the 4 main elements surrounding them. Holy shish, the beast yelled as it was swallowed up by the blast of energy. As Naruto's sword went back to normal, the 3 Iwa shinobi walked up to the boy, a bit gobsmacked that the boy had this much power. Finally, the old man spoke. Boy, that was impressive. You also look like the 4th Hokage. Are you his son? That was the big question. He could answer it in a few ways and any one of them could get himself killed. So, he just decided to wing it. Yes I am. There was a long silence before the old man smiled. Good, then I can finally tell someone from Konoha that we don't hate them. Besides, the Yondaime was a great shinobi. Most of the simple-minded fools that hate Konoha are now missing ninja. Anyway, I am Onoki, the Tsuchikage. Oh right, my name is Naruto Uzumaki, Konoha's Shinigami. I always thought that Konoha's Shinigami would have been older. No matter, you saved us, so what would you like for us to do for you? Naruto was shocked at first but soon got over it as he began to think about it. Do you know any demon containers? The 2 men froze and looked at their cage for an answer. What would you need them for? Onoki asked with a raised eyebrow. To this, Naruto started to explain everything again. At the end, could tell these three men were pissed off at Konoha but they could not do anything about it. Onoki agreed with the seals on the demon containers and that Naruto visit Iwa someday to set up the future alliance. After that, they left, bidding Naruto good luck on his quest. Konoha, Danzo's hideout. Danzo growled to himself as his son left. He was losing the brat to Naruto of all people. Losing to that brat as well, came the voice of a very familiar winged tiger-like hollow. Tigre alado, winged tiger, it has been too long. What do you need? Asked Danzo, his anger gone. Master has said me to the others. The time has almost come. We need to get stronger than we are. I see, so he wishes that we speed up our progress. I have set up all the necessary thing to overtake Konoha. I just need to create a few of our bloodlines. I know these humans will turn on me, so will create bloodlines in my soldier that I know will be loyal to me till the end. Very well, good luck with that. Besides, you and your girlfriend will be more than enough to take this pathetic human hive over. Good luck, Ahuake Rai's hollow root, Tigre Alado said as he disappeared. Homura, Kaharu, let's get started. Danzo said as two zombie-like council members walked in and Danzo just gave an evil smirk, not knowing what was going on above them. Konoha, ground level, thing were a mess to say the least. Ninja who were able to fly by using some odd machines were attacking the village and everyone was in a panic. Sora growled. He wished Naruto was back from the mist so that he could help, but he wasn't, so that was that. He and the others were able to fight a few of the ninja, but these guys were tough. He soon came to a rooftop that had Neji and Shikamaru. The three of them were watching the flying ninja retreat. What do you think is up with them? Asked Shikamaru. Simple, they ran out of chakra. Neji stated. Great, now we can plan a counterattack. Sora said. Right, let's go to the Hokage and ask what he thinks what we should do. Shikamaru said as the two other boys nodded. With Naruto, in a swamp. Thank God for water walking, who knows what kind of poisonous creatures are here. Naruto said as he walked along the water's surface. I really don't want to find out. He then decided to look up, and to his surprise, a ninja was coming straight for him, fly thanks to some odd machine. He of course flipped out of the way when kunai were thrown at him. The hell is wrong with you? All Konoha ninja must die. The flying man said. Yeah, who says that? Naruto replied. Says the people of Sky Country after our defeat in the Second Great Shinobi War. Man, these people know how to hold a grudge. Naruto thought as he woke up Kira. Kira, let's fly. The raven nodded as she melted into his back. The hell? Yelled the Sky Ninja. Surprised. Well, you bakas aren't the only ones who can fly. Naruto said with a smirk as he had wind circling himself, effectively going into his Kaju Bufu. Ryu, Spiral Gale Fist. So with a sonic boom, he charged straight at the Sky Ninja, frozen in fear. Since he didn't move, the man got his face caved in and twisted around as he was set flying back. All Konoha shinobi must die my ass. Naruto said as he deactivated his wind taijutsu style, and Kira fell asleep on his shoulder. Nothing but a bunch of weirdos who talk big. He then began to walk towards a village in the distance. Another flying ninja saw all this happening and flew off to tell their master of what he saw. About halfway to the village, Naruto decided to rest and check in with Konoha. Sora, are you there? Oh, thank God, Naruto. Where are you? We just got word that you helped Mist Village rather quickly. The hell are you? Ah, yeah, that figures. I ran into some hollows that were attacked the Tsuchikage's caravan. Didn't want Iwa to blame us for the death of their cage. Right, the old man wants to know where you are right now. Sora said. Near some village at the border, near a swamp. Naruto deadpanned, and he knew that somehow that Sora was talking with the cage. Okay, Naruto. I will make this short. A bunch of Sky Ninja attacked the village and we took some losses, but not that much. However, a man named Shino helped a lot of our injured inside that some of the Sky Ninja were attacked that village you are headed to. He is worried about the student, Amaru, so the Hokage is sending a 3-man cell to protect him as he goes over there. He also wants you to protect this Amaru. He described her as a tomboy. Sounds like a plan. Oh, and tell the old man that I just took out a Sky Ninja over here. Seems that they are attacking over here as well. Naruto commented. Alright then, and remember this I an A-ranked mission because they attacked us and all that. Sora said through the link before he cut it off. I think I could use a little more help than that. Naruto thought through the link. What are you talking about? Came two voices that Naruto smiled at. Fu, Gaara, nice timing. Anyway, I am at the border of Fire Country near some village by a swamp. Apparently a group of Sky Ninja went and attacked Konoha, so they need me to protect some doctor's apprentice in this village since Sky Ninja are attacking over here. Oh joy. You wanna help? Absolutely. I have been waiting to test out my new powers. Fu said with a giddy smile. I am a bit far but I will see what I can do. Gaara replied with uncertainty. Well, I do know Konoha is sending a team over here to protect the doctor, and if I know the old man, he will probably send a team out to find and destroy the Sky Ninja's hideout. Right, we are on our way. Came three voices then too. Okay then, seems Yagura wishes to help as well. Naruto commented as he got back up and ran the rest of the way there. A day later, with Konoha at the beach. Well, this is annoying. That jerk wants us to defeat a few of the Sky Ninja. Sai said to Sora. They were currently on a cliff, overlooking the massive ships that had all the Sky Ninja on them. Well, Shikamaru has a great plan, but I'm wondering if those birds of yours will actually hold us. Sora commented. They will. I have rode on them before. Sai reassured him. Well, I guess that is it then. Let's go kick some ass. Sora smirked. Very well. Sai replied as he drew up two large birds and the boy took off, causing mayhem to the Sky Ninja. While that was going on, Shikamaru and Kakashi were observing from the beach. The plan is going smoothly, Shikamaru. Thank you. Now our fourth member just needs time to prepare. Right, Kakashi started to say before they felt a chakra presence coming out of the water. What they saw was a boy in green clothes with what looked to be a sword in his hand. I am not. Too late am I? The boy asked. Who are you? Kakashi asked. I am Yagura, the former fourth Mizukage. I heard from Naruto what was going on, so I decided to help. I think Fu and Gaara are coming as well, but I do not know if they are coming here or straight to Naruto. Yagura informed them. Troublesome blonde, alright, Shikamaru said as he radioed his fourth member, telling them they had company that was friendly. Through all of this, Kakashi wondered what Naruto did to gain Yagura as an ally. Yagura-san, if you were the fourth, who is the fifth? Kakashi asked. Oh, that is an easy one. Naruto's godmother, Meitorumi, is the fifth Mizukage. Yagura replied to hear Shikamaru mutter troublesome while Kakashi had a flabbergasted look on his face. Yagura just kept on smiling. Konoha, Hinata, Sasuke, and Sakura were the ones who were picked to protect the doctor named Shino. They were already at the gates, but Shino seemed distracted for some reason. I wonder why you are not here. Naruto. Sasuke gave Shino an odd look as they left the Hidden Leaf village. Back with Naruto. Our blonde hero is walking through the streets of the village near the swamp. People took one look at him and then got back to what they were doing. It would seem that they have had odd people pass through this place before. Not that it mattered to Naruto, since he didn't really know who the person he was trying to find, so he asked the nearest person to him. Excuse me, old man, what do y'all want? Well, I have been sent to protect some girl from a bunch of Sky Ninja, at least I think so. Naruto said airheadedly, making the old man sigh. All that I know about her is that she looks like a tomboy and her name is Amaru. Oh, her. The old man rolled his eyes and said, try the outskirts of the village. I think that silly girl wanted to check out something odd. All right, thanks, Naruto said as he left. Even though he got a very vague answer, it was a start. Like Shikamaru says, troublesome. Another day later, the village was bigger than he thought, but even though he circled the place, he went into the nearby swamp to see if she was in there. Eventually, he found her and she was in trouble. Sky Ninja were pursuing her. He smirked as he had the perfect entrance for this. He had Kira merge with him in Wet Wind style again. With a vicious smirk, he shot off toward her attackers. As Amrao was running from her pursuers, she heard a rather large sonic boom. She turned to see a blonde guy with black wings taking out her attackers with ease. In fact, all he did was use his swords to stab the thing on their back and it exploded, getting rid of the Sky Ninja. The boy then did a flip and land on his feet, his back facing her. Wow, Could have been a better entrance. Naruto said as he got back up, his wings turning back to Kira. Well, maybe you should have backflipped so you were facing the flames. Kira deadpanned. Yeah, I should have done that. Amaru couldn't help but fall anime style at the scene of Naruto talking with a raven that could talk. Ah, thanks for helping me, but who the hell are you? As if just noticing her presence, he said, oh, name's Naruto Uzumaki. I was sent to protect you. Seems your master is worried about you. Oh, Amaru said as she blushed at the fact that her master was worried about her. Just look her up, I am not describing her. Okay, let's head back to your village because they're probably already there. Naruto said as he started to walk away and Amaru followed. Along the way, they talked about random things. He learned that she was a very good doctor but had very little training in the ninja arts. She only had enough training to defend herself from bandits. He could also tell that she had a crush on her master by the way she talked about him. He was glad but a bit freaked out that she was in love with an old man, but it was not his business. When they finally got back, they smelled smoke. That is never a good sign. Naruto said as Amaru ran into the village to see that buildings were on fire and no one was around. Hello, hello, is anyone there? The red-haired girl yelled as she walked up the stairs to a higher level of the village. That was trap for as soon as she stepped on the last step, machines firing kunai shot all their kunai at her. Now Naruto may be fast but he could not get to her in time, but he did watch in shock as an old man ran with all his might to get the girl out of harm's way, but he took all the kunai himself. Sensei, the girl cried as he fell down the stairs. Ah hell, Naruto said as he ran over to them. This was not good. Now I wish I was a medic nin. No need, came a familiar voice. Naruto turned his head as he smirked at the forms of Sasuke, Sora, Sakura, and Hinata. Oh thank God. Yeah, Sakura does have some training in the medical arts so she is not totally useless. Sasuke commented. Oh yeah, yelled Sakura as she bashed him over the head. How about now? Please, we have a mission. Hinata said as he tried to calm them down. Those idiots, Naruto said as Sakura and Hinata began to check up on Shino. What is up with you two? Naruto commented. HN, Sasuke said, much to the annoyance of Naruto. In the end, it seemed that Shino could not be saved. Amaru broke down but they helped her bury the man. Naruto stayed with her for a bit but he still had to help clean up the village and look for the villagers. They had all split up to find the village in the swampy areas around the village. He hoped Amaru would be okay. After all, she did lose someone she loved. Soon he came upon a mist-covered clearing and just waited for one of the others to come. Sakura and Sasuke soon came to him. Naruto, what are you doing? How is your search coming? Sakura asked. Guys, look. Naruto pointed to some ruins in the mist. What the, must be those ruins that Shino talked about on the way here. Sasuke commented. As they walked through the misty ruins, they noticed a lone figure just standing there. The mist cleared and they saw it was Amaru but something was wrong, she was acting differently. Amaru, what are you doing here? Naruto asked. She looked up and her eyes started glowing red, never a good sign. I am Ribi, she said in a monotone. When war fills the land, and the hearts of people are filled with darkness, I shall rise again. The hell are you talking about? Sasuke asked. Naruto however was pale. The Ribi was the zero-tailed masked leech. Oh, this was so not good. I will be born after eating the darkness in people's hearts, and my growth will know no bounds. She muttered as she shifted forms into the purple-skinned leech itself. Then I will rule the world. Back with Sora and the gang. Sai was tiring out and Shikamaru know that. So he sent a signal to let Sai know he was done. The Ink Ninja sighed as he flew to the beach and ran into the forest behind the beach. That is where Shikamaru and Kakashi took care of the idiots who flew to the beach to kill them. So troublesome. Shikamaru sighed. Now it is your turn, fourth member. Back with Naruto. The leech quickly swung both of its hands and swatted Sasuke and Sakura into a few rocks, knocking them out. The leech then created multiple arms and quickly wrapped them around Naruto. I sense that you had an evil power but it is gone now. Why did you get rid of it? I wanted that power. Arg. Too bad for you, you freak. Wind style. Blade burst. Called out as blades of wind formed on his person then blasted outward, shedding his fleshy captor. You cannot win, you are a failure in life, you will lose. Ranted the leech. Oh, shut up. Naruto yelled as he charged the beast only for it to whack him into some rocks with its regrown arms. Oh, come on. Lead the insects. Kanchu Kazaki, Insect Queen. Came a very familiar voice to Naruto as many different kinds of insects started to swarm the giant leech. Naruto turned his head to see Fu, his girlfriend. Nice timing, Naruto said as he got up. Thanks, but I am not the only one. Gaara also hold his ass over here too. Fu said with a smile. Before Naruto could say anything, he heard the monotone of Gaara, protection of the sands, Metaru Taisaburt metal forming sands. With that, a huge wave metal sand formed into flying spikes to impale the annoying leech. Nice turnout you two. Naruto commented as got back up, but saw the monster leech reforming itself. Oh, this is getting us nowhere fast. Naruto deadpanned. What do you suggest, Naruto? Fu said, a little freaked out by this thing. She is like a demon container, we just have to get through to her. Naruto said as the other two nodded in understanding. They didn't know the girl that much, they elected Naruto to do it. Right, thanks. Naruto deadpanned before he turned back to the possessed girl. Amaru, wake up. Aren't you supposed to be Shino pupil? Come on, you gotta obey your senei's teaching, so get out of your funk. A monotonous, Shino-sensei, was heard as the evil leech dissipated to reveal the girl named Amaru, but then she passed out. Well, at least she is okay. Naruto commented. After a bit, she woke thankfully. Naruto had made some clones to gather Sasuke and Sakura. The real Naruto waked over to the shaken girl and put a hand on her shoulder. She seemed to be out of it and Naruto said, hey, you okay? It seemed like touching scene, so Fu got a little jealous but kept control. It would not do well for Naruto if she killed someone he was supposed to protect. Naruto smiled and said, you did well. I am glad you came back to us. That is probably what Shino would have said. Yeah, she muttered as she wiped some tears away. At that moment, Sasuke and Sakura were waking up. As soon as Sakura saw that Naruto was holding her, she freaked out and punched him into a tree, making him go poof. Sasuke just flicked the Naruto clone and made it disappear so he could get up. You two okay? Yeah, what happened? Sasuke said, not entirely sure how it happened, but thankfully, it is over. Naruto said as he gave a bright smile. Oh, these two are Gaara from Suna and Fu from Taki. Naruto introduced his two friends to the two members of Team 7. Oh, so this is your girlfriend? Sakura said teasingly. You got a problem with that Pinky? Fu said with narrowed eyes. No, I was just teasing Naruto, sheesh. Sakura said. Before they could say any more, the ground shook violently. Naruto decided to go into the ruins to see what was up. Amaru also wanted to, but Sakura and Fu said not, but Naruto said it was okay, so Gaara went in with them. Geez, Sakura said. Well, let's go find those villagers. Fu ordered. HN. Sasuke replied as they left the site. Naruto has the weirdest tastes in girls, thought Sasuke as they started to leave, only for the ground to shake yet again, but a whole lot more violent. They turned and saw something they would never see in their lives. The ruins were rising out of the ground. What the fuck? Fu yelled the thing that was on everyone's mind. Naruto. All the three of them yelled. With Shikamaru. It is about time, Shikamaru muttered. The enemy's preparations should nearly be complete, so we will be facing an all-out attack. There is no need for you to worry about that, came another voice coming out of the water. That is because is it unfathomable for me to fail. Shikamaru just smirked at the form of Shino. Then they heard a rumbling sound as the ships were falling apart thanks to Shino's meddling eating bugs. When it seemed that the ships would be unable to move and pretty much not repairable, Shikamaru told Shino to call off his bugs. It was Yagura's turn. The Nara nodded to Yagura, who was already on the water, when he saw all the bugs in the air. Yagura nodded back as he began some hand signs. Water style, serpents of the maelstrom. Soon, a very large maelstrom appeared and began to suck in the ships, but that was not all. Serpents made of water broke through the remaining ships, destroying them further. Soon there were no ships left as the jutsu dissipated, all except for the large pieces of metal floating on the surface. Their job was done for now, they hoped the others were doing as well as them. Back with Naruto. On the floating ruins, Naruto, Amaru, and Gaara were sneaking around the place as to not get caught by some random sky ninja. This place was not for Konoha, that was for sure. I can't believe we are flying in ruins no less. Amaru commented. I agree. Gaara replied. I have seen it all now. Naruto deadpanned, but we will be okay, trust me. After that, they ran as fast as they could through the place, looking for the guy who was controlling things. They soon came upon a light at the end of the tunnel, only to be stopped by some sky ninja, which Naruto and Gaara took care of pretty easily. As soon as they entered the next room, Naruto and Amaru froze in place, too shocked to do anything, while Gaara was just confused. Well done, you two. I knew it, Amaru called out as she ran to the person of the voice, Shino. Naruto, however, was rooted in place. She leapt into the man's arms and cried, I believed it, I believed there was no way you would die. Why are you here, mister? Naruto said as he walked forward. What is the meaning of this? The man smirked and said, there is only one way I could be in this place, Anchorvantion. I guess simpletons like you would not get it. At this, Amaru's eyes widened. Her master never talked like this. It may look like some flying ruins, but it is Sky Country's greatest creation. The best weapon of mass destruction. But wait, you got hit but all those kunai. Naruto, he faked his death. Kira spoke up from his shoulder. It would seem was playing us all. Hey, seems that bird figured it out. In any event, she is correct. It was easy to fool Sakura and Hinata into thinking I was dead. While I was gone, I just had to repair my organs with the body revival jutsu. At this, Amaru had a shocked look on her face as she looked up to see that her master had an evil look on his face. Never heard of it, must be some forbidden crap. Naruto growled out. He was beginning to hate this guy. I see, Gaara finally spoke up. You were with these people, you were playing us the whole time. You are correct, Gaara. Shino smirked as he grabbed Amaru's head and threw her toward the two boy, which she just crashed into Naruto. Ah hell, Naruto said as he slowly got up, making sure not to hurt Amaru, but it seemed that she was in shock as he was still as stone. You see, all I wanted for 14 years was to gain the power of the Ribi as my own. This girl was just a pawn. Laughed Shino. I found Amaru and I found what I was looking for in Konoha. He then began to rant on about the power of the Ribi and the dark chakra as control. When Amaru called out to her master on last time, he mocked her telling her that love and crap like that is useless. It looked like it broke the girl. That was all it took to make Shino. Surrounded in dark chakra, Naruto stayed back to see what would happen and was kind of freaked out because Shino was transformed into a huge man looked like a muscle builder and his hair was now black. This is the power of dark chakra and the body revival jutsu. This is my power. Naruto had enough and charged him with Gaara. They both punched him in the face. It didn't seem to do anything to the man. My turn, Shino yelled as he rushed the two boys and beat the shit out of them. Ah, hell, Naruto said, trying to get back up and saw that Gaara looked knocked out. Damn you, Naruto yelled as he created a massive amount of clones only for them to be destroyed by some odd dark wave that Shino made. Through the smoke, he was able to get another punch in but Shino was once again unaffected. Shino smirked and punched Naruto into a wall. The large man then sat down in a large throne and said, so, this chair was meant for the prefect-bodied king. Like hell, Naruto started as he got pissed off and started beating Shino into the ground. I would accepted you as a king. He then ended with a Rasengan to the man's face. He then went over to see if Amaru was okay, but like usual Shino got back Uo to explain that his jutsu was reforming his body over and over. The man then blasted Naruto to the throne via his super revival fist. After few more rounds of beating the shit out of each other up, Shino knocked Naruto back over to Amaru. The power of love is weak. Destruction is power. You idiot, love is stronger. I love my teacher, my friend, Fu-chan, so much that it hurts. Naruto yelled at the man. Then let's hear it. What did Amaru's love turn into? Shino yelled, which made Amaru look up. In the end, she will just be hurting. Why? Shut up, Naruto yelled, through with this crap as he charged the man again, only to blown back by some dark energy. Naruto, Amaru asked as he saw Naruto just lying there. My power, that didn't hurt at all. Naruto yelled as he slowly got back up. Naruto, Amaru said surprised. Here I come. Naruto yelled at Shino and charged him yet again, only to be beat down again. Revival fist. Shino called out and sent Naruto back to Amaru, and thankfully she caught him and glared at the large man. Shino laughed and said, "You have that look in your eyes, Amaru. Don't forget you're hated, and never forgive me." Amaru then took out a scalpel but began to cry as a memory came to her. "Amaru, I can still fight," Naruto mumbled as he slowly got back up. "I don't mind that you're sad or frustrated. You can't hold it in, right? And I'll take it all for you, that is my job after all." Amaru just stared in shock at her protector, the tear running down her face. Naruto then turned to Shino. "Don't move, I am going to kick your ass." Amaru started to whip her. "Naruto, I'm sorry." She then brought her scalpel to her neck in a stabbing motion and attempted to stab herself, but Naruto stopped her with his arm, getting him stabbed instead. "What's wrong? Don't do that," Naruto said weakly. "You gotta keep on living. That's way, you have to tell him goodbye." He then smiled brightly and said, "You have not told him yet, right? How you really feel? You, tell him, okay?" "Yeah," she said quietly as she began to help Naruto with his wound in his arm. As she was doing that, she began to talk about how she was praised by her master and thought she was beautiful, greatly annoying Shino. "I have always loved you, sensei," she yelled out only for the jerk to start laughing like crazy. Naruto had enough of this and he began to really gain some strength and punch the shit out of Shino, yelling at him about forcing his ideals onto Amaru. "I will never forget you for that." Naruto yelled and was going to send a Rasengan to the man but was cut off by a loud sound wave. The ninja in purple outfit but no headband had interrupted the fight. "What the hell?" Naruto yelled out, and secretly, Gar sent a few sand needles to Shino to weaken him. "I have come here for the scroll," the new guy said. Shino slowly got back up and smirked. "So, Orochimaru wants more of the scroll, huh? Well, here." He then opened a compartment and threw a scroll to the man, and then he fell through a hole in the ground, letting him escape. He knew that somehow, he was beaten because he could not use chakra like before. Besides, he now looked like a very weak old man thanks to Gaara. "Not yet. It is not over yet," they heard him yell. The new ninja just sighed before disappearing before he could be questioned. "All right, Amaru, I am going after him. Now we might be able to save him. You can just give up later if y'all want. Now let's go find him and the villagers." She nodded and they split up to find the villagers and Shino. What she found was all the villagers and Hinata in some holding cell. Naruto and Gaara found the passage to Shino, who using the room he was in to suck all the chakra in the area and help himself to turn into the leech itself. They cursed at this fact and well, there was not much they could do. Then Gaara had an idea and sent a crap load of chakra to the leech, and Naruto caught on, sent a massive amount of his own chakra to the beast, overloading it and pretty much destroying it from the inside out, and in the process, killed Shino. Though the decrepit old man did tell them that even didn't know what was going to happen. Naruto cursed and told Gaara they needed to get out of there, and he agreed. They ran for all they were worth. Of course the remnants of the leech were going crazy in the place. Once they were at the entrance, they saw Amaru and all the villager plus Hinata in some boat-looking thing. "Oh, thank God you guys are okay," Naruto called out when he saw them. Hinata looked and said, "Naruto-kun." Along with Amaru, Naruto looked around and saw a lever of some sort that probably launched the boat off the flying vessel they were on. So he ran over to it and he heard Gaara yell from the boat, "Naruto, what are you doing? Hey, someone has to get you guys off this thing and destroy it. Besides, if my eyes are not playing trick on me, we are over water and you don't do so well with water." At this, Gaara looked over the boat and indeed see the water. Now Gaara is usually stoic about a lot of things, but water is not one of them. "Water, I can't swim." He started freaking out and it took Hinata to calm him down. "Don't worry, I will be back, that is a promise," Naruto said, getting everyone's attention again as he pulled the lever. "Naruto!" Amaru yelled as the boat went soaring down. Naruto just smiled as he began to destroy the place with well-placed Rasengans. Down on the beach, at first they were shocked that a huge fortress was flying over them, but now they are not that surprised that Naruto is blowing it up with his powers. Troublesome blonde, Shikamaru said from his spot on the beach. What do you expect from him? Sakura muttered, nothing less. Fu smiled while the others laughed. We should move, Kakashi said as the other agreed. Back with Naruto. I can't keep this up. Naruto panted from his position in the middle of the fortress. He then thought to use just one Rasengan to get rid of this place once and for all. This, here is a taste of my new jutsu. He yelled as he charged a Rasengan but kept on feeding chakra to it and eventually, it turned pure white as no one could see through it. Time to end this. Hurricane Rasengan. Just as he touched the ground with it, the effect was instant. There was a large white explosion that shifted into a pure chakra hurricane with Naruto as the eye of the storm. Holy shit, Sakura yelled from her spot on the ground. Great, another troublesome jutsu. Shikamaru commented, wow, Fu said with sparkles in her eyes. Naruto, however, was not falling and it seemed that the blast stunned little Kira so he would not be able to use her to fly down. Ah, crap, and I have not perfected the flying part of my wind-style taijutsu. Oh well, not like I have a lot of energy at the moment. He muttered as he started shooting down to the ground. Amaru, having gotten out of her awe at the attack that Naruto had used a spar flying machine to save Naruto. Of course it was not fast enough to get to him, so she got rid of it and catch Naruto as they spiraled downward. Amaru, don't be so reckless, Naruto said tiredly. Just who do you think is being reckless, Baka, she replied. Hey, touché, Naruto commented, at least I won't be alone on my way down. I won't leave you alone, the girl said as she held on tight to him. I'll stay with you. Thanks, said Naruto. He then took a chance. Hey Amaru, want come back to Konoha with us? You can be on me and Sora's team. I would love to, she said with a smile as they clashed into the water.